Did you know that on the cliffs of Mali, a West African people carried detailed knowledge about a star system no human eye can see? Knowledge they preserved in ritual, symbol, and story centuries before modern telescopes confirmed it? This isn't legend. This isn't mysticism. It's the story of the Dogon people, and what their understanding of the cosmos reveals about African science, memory, and human curiosity. High along the Bandiagara escarpment in present-day Mali, the Dogon built their villages into sheer sandstone cliffs. From this dramatic landscape, they developed a culture defined by precision, in farming, in architecture, in ritual, and in how knowledge was remembered. For the Dogon, knowledge was not written. It was trained, guarded, passed down carefully through generations by specialists whose role was to remember, interpret, and preserve truth without distortion. This oral system was not casual storytelling. It was structured, layered, and exacting. In the early 20th century, French anthropologists Marcel Griaule and Germain Dieterlen spent decades living among the Dogon. Over years of trust and initiation, they were introduced to deeper layers of Dogon cosmology, knowledge not shared lightly, and never all at once. What they recorded startled the scientific world. The Dogon spoke of Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, but they insisted Sirius was not alone. They described a second star, invisible to the naked eye, orbiting Sirius in a long, elliptical path. They called it Patolo, the small star, and described it as extraordinarily heavy, so dense that even a tiny piece would outweigh everything on Earth. They said this star completed an orbit roughly every 50 years. Modern astronomy confirms this description almost exactly. Sirius B, a white dwarf star, was first observed through a telescope in 1862. Its orbital period was calculated over decades. Its extreme density wasn't understood until the development of modern astrophysics. Yet the Dogon described these features through symbolic language long before such measurements were widely known. So how did they know? This question has sparked serious scholarly debate, and it deserves careful honesty. Some researchers argue that Dogon knowledge may have been influenced by early 20th century contact with Western astronomers or travelers. Others point out that many of the details recorded by Griaule and Dieterlen were not yet fully established in popular or academic astronomy at the time. What is not disputed is this: the Dogon possessed a coherent, systematic astronomical framework, preserved through oral tradition with remarkable consistency. Their cosmology extended beyond Sirius. They described the universe as emerging from a single point, expanding outward in ordered motion. They mapped celestial cycles through ritual calendars. They used sand drawings, architecture, and ceremony to encode cosmic relationships. This was not guesswork. It was observation, memory, and meaning combined. Across human history, advanced astronomy has never depended solely on instruments. Ancient observers around the world, in Africa, Asia, the Americas, tracked the skies with patience, mathematics, and generational continuity. Telescopes refined knowledge, but they did not create curiosity. The Dogon remind us of something modern narratives often forget: that oral knowledge can be precise, durable, and sophisticated. Information preserved in multiple forms, story, ritual, symbol, performance, becomes resilient. It lives in people, not pages. It survives conquest, climate, and time. This challenges how we define discovery. If knowledge exists, is preserved, and is used, but not written in academic journals, does it disappear? Or does it simply wait for recognition? African astronomy did not begin or end with the Dogon. From the Nile Valley's stellar calendars, to Saharan navigation guided by constellations, to Ethiopian timekeeping, systems still in use today, Africans have always studied the sky as carefully as any civilization on Earth. The Dogon stand out not because they were alone, but because their knowledge survived. Today, on the same cliffs, Dogon communities still tell these stories. The stars still rise above the escarpment. The traditions endure, quieter now, but unbroken. The Dogon did what humans everywhere have always done. They looked up. They asked questions. They observed patterns. They remembered. That is science in its oldest form. And when we listen carefully, without dismissing, without sensationalizing, we don't just learn about the Dogon. We learn something deeper about humanity itself. The night sky belongs to no single culture, but the story of understanding it belongs to all of us, including Africa, where humans have always watched the stars and always will.